With the Burning Crusade being only 2 weeks away, I want to start talking about what to do during the first few weeks to get a serious advantage for the entire expansion. This is going to be a fairly large series since there are so many new items. I don't think I can fit everything into a single video. Essentially, while leveling, players will sell the items they need at level 70 for gold right away. If we can just buy those items from them and figure out what they need before they do, we can sell it back to them once they reach level 70 for profit. I know this is going to happen because I've done a small census and the vast majority of leveling players will not be planning ahead for what they need at level 70. The vast majority of respondents stated they were going to focus on fun and figure out what they needed at level 70, which in my opinion is a perfectly reasonable thing to do because it just came. So only a single player that I asked intended to start buying materials for his Drakefist hammer within 24 hours of entering the Dark Portal, and this is a very smart player. So what does this mean? It's basically a golden opportunity. These people are out here having fun and the time of their lives without a thought about the auction house, and we're still here at the auction house playing a completely different game, planning economic warfare on them. The sides are completely imbalanced, and this is an environment that's usually ripe with opportunity. So let's start with the first couple days of the expansion. There's two things I want to mention before starting. The first is that you should wait a little bit before buying. Don't buy the first things that hit the market. Wait at least 24 to 48 hours for prices to settle. I'm personally probably not going to be buying anything during this period, and just see where prices are going before buying. You want to buy stuff when the bulk of players are farming something, not when a few hardcore players far ahead of the curve are farming it and bringing it to the market. Therefore, the general price level of the early few weeks is going to look something like this. As you can see at the start, the prices will be high because only a small slice of sweats have farmed those items. The early supply will be low. As more players start farming the items, supply rises and the price falls. Here's where we want to start buying. As the first few players hit level 70, demand starts going up. This is when we want to start selling. So don't jump the gun, be patient. If I had to guess, there's going to be such an overwhelming amount of materials, it's going to be impossible for any one person to buy it all. There's just going to be so much. There's going to be so much to go around. Don't get fear of missing out, just be patient. The second thing I want to mention is it's hard to actually recommend stuff to buy without knowing the price. I mean, the expansion isn't even out yet, and I can't read the future. I'll definitely make videos with updates when the time actually comes around, but without knowing the price, I can't tell you if it's a good buy or not. Something that's cheap at 1 gold could be too expensive for 100 gold, and nobody knows the price yet. So use this video as just raising your own awareness of key bottleneck items, not as an actual list of what to buy. Use your brain. If it's too expensive, don't get it. So let's move on to the actual meat of the video and start with Hellfire Peninsula. So which items will drop there that players will not know they need? Let's start at the beginning, and the first item is the Moat of Fire. This is a drop that doesn't come from mobs, but rather from mining the fell iron ore and veins which is found around the zone, and can be mined as early as level 58. Players will get a lot of Moats of Fire and not really know what to do with it because they're at such an early level. It's used in a number of very good recipes, the primary one being the Drakefire hammer, and at level 70, a lot of players will want to craft the Drakefire hammer. As I mentioned previously, the only guy who's planning ahead, that's the one item he's going to rush, is the Drakefire hammer, and if he's rushing it, I know it's going to be very attractive to a lot of other players. Primal Fire is likely going to be crazy expensive at the start. The next item I want to talk about is 2 items, which are the Moat of Shadows and the Fellhide from the Hellboars. So both of these items drop in Hellfire Peninsula and are used to craft a lot of pre-raid best-in-slot pieces. And of particular note, the main bottleneck is the Fell leather boots, which will be desired by all physical damage dealing classes, and in my opinion is going to be a major bottleneck once people are gearing up for Karazhan. So these boots are leather boots, and you'd think, okay, only the rogues and the feral druids want them, right? But no, it's every single physical damage dealer. It's the warriors want them, the retribution paladins want them, the hunters want them. The enhancement shamans want them. Half of the server is gonna want to be wearing these boots on their feet. So pay very close attention to these two items. Moving forward, we have the netherweave cloth and knot hide leather, as well as fell iron. These three materials are going to be in massive supply when people are leveling, but when they get to level 70 or when they start trying to train up their professions, I think people are going to realize, or perhaps they already realize, they just don't care, is that to level up these professions requires a truly crazy amount of these materials. I do not know what Blizzard was thinking when they required so many materials to level these professions, but my guess is that these three materials, the netherweave cloth, the knot hide leather, and the fell iron ore, is going to be too cheap while leveling because there's too much supply and people don't know what to do with it. And then for a few weeks when people hit level 70, these are going to be very, very expensive. So definitely something you can capitalize on. The final item I want to talk about, and perhaps the most important, is the small prismatic shard, which isn't really a drop from the Hellfire Peninsula, but rather from the instance, the Hellfire ramparts that people are going to be farming. I could easily make an entire video that's like 30 minutes long about why this is the best investment in the Burning Crusade, and I probably will make something like that in the future. But I want to keep this short. The essentials are that it can't be farmed by bots, since you need a high level enchanting to disenchant stuff, and demand for them will continue going up throughout the expansion. There's other stuff like players, if they're doing PvP, they need to enchant 2 sets of gear, and there's other stuff like the fact that this is going to be, the small prismatic shards, they're going to be in so much oversupply early, which is going to dwindle once people stop leveling. So really, really keep an eye on small prismatic shards. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for listening.